The first time Admiral Corthon heard the sound, he dropped into a defensive crouch, his claws extended and pupils widening to full battlesphere dilation. Squeak, his officers scrambled, chairs skittering across the deck, alarms half-triggered as everyone desperately looked for the source of the imminent threat. The hum of the Star Cruiser Vigilant Spear seemed to hold its breath. Then, a small shadow scampered across the polished floor. It was a cub. Specifically, the Ambassador's human's cub. Little Myra toddled in confidently, holding something bright blue in her small hand. She squeezed it again. Squeak! Admiral Corthon nearly threw himself behind a console. The human, Lieutenant Sarah Wells, walked in half a minute later, completely unfazed. "Oh, sorry if she startled you," she said, scooping the cub into her arms. She just really loves her squeaky toy. The officers stared at her as though she had just introduced a miniature antimatter warhead to the bridge. Captain Drethuana, being normally known for his unshakable composure, cleared his throat. "Lieutenant, that object emits a sound pattern consistent with prey distress frequencies used on 4 Predator Heavy worlds. It can trigger attack reflexes in half the species aboard this ship." Sarah blinked. "It's a rubber duck." Corthon's ears flattened against his skull. "A duck," he repeated. "The word foreign and absurd." "Yeah." Sarah squeezed it to demonstrate. Squeak. 4 officers flinched. One passed out, cold. Word spread across the fleet within hours. The human youngling carries a weapon that bypasses all known security protocols. Admiral Corthon ordered a full investigation. Not because he genuinely feared the device, though it did make an uncomfortably effective noise, but because humans, in his experience, never introduced something without it secretly being far more dangerous than it appeared. He still remembered the time a human introduced coffee to the officers' lounge. Half the command staff pulled 2 consecutive all-nighters, just reorganizing the ship's inventory for fun. So, clearly, the squeaky duck warranted scholarly examination, and so began one of the strangest research projects in the history of Galactic Command. Admiral Corthon sat in his office, stylus poised, as he began documenting everything known about the rubber entity. Page 1 of 50. Preliminary threat. Assessment, object composition. Unknown polymer. Color, aquatic blue. Shape, anthropomorphic avian. Primary disturbance function, squeak. Secondary function, unknown possibly concealed weaponry. He wrote a paragraph, then another, then 20 more. By page 12, he had already diagrammed possible explosive payload locations, with annotations like suspiciously cheerful beak possible emitter. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Sarah found the entire security escalation baffling. Mira simply liked the noise, bouncing in her seat and happily squeezing the toy while the entire deck crew flinched like cadets under live fire. "Maybe I should take it away," Saraya offered, feeling a little guilty. Corthon stiffened. "No. The device is clearly vital enrichment for your young. To remove it may cause psychological disturbance." Sarah stared at him. "It's literally a bath toy." "Exactly," Corthon replied gravely. "A tool integrated into life-sustaining hygiene rituals. We will not interfere." After hours of observation, the Admiral noted a disturbing pattern on page 23. Behavioral implications. Whenever Mira squeaked the toy, any nearby humans smiled instantly. They even emitted a soft cooing noise. This required a full cultural subsection. Hypothesis. The humans have engineered a sound-triggered bonding mechanism. Concern. Could this be replicated to control non-human personnel? Mitigation. Ear protection. For all crew until further notice. He assigned 3 officers to study human emotion responses. They came back with recordings of 20 humans, giggling at the squeak. Corthon added another 8 pages to the report. Finally, on page 39, came controlled testing. The engineering lab gathered, watching nervously as the Admiral lifted the toy with 2 claws and pressed gently. "Squeak!" He jumped. Everyone jumped. Mira, peeking from behind her mother, laughed. Something in the Admiral's chest warmed at the sound. Strange. Unsettling. Yet pleasant. He squeezed it again. Squeak. He liked it? He quickly scribbled onto the report. Potential emotional altering properties detected. Further study required B. Page 50. Admiral Corthan arrived at his conclusion. While not inherently dangerous, the human squeaky toy demonstrates alarming psychological influence across species. Recommend further study and procurement of one for personal use under controlled conditions. He looked up from his report. Mira toddled into his office, raised the toy, and squeezed. Squeak! Without hesitation, the Admiral smiled. An actual smile. Permission, he said softly. To hold the training apparatus? Mira handed it over. Corthan squeezed it once, then twice. Then, far too many times for an admiral of his stature. Sarah just sighed. Another one corrupted. And somewhere in the vastness of the Galactic Fleet, a new fear spread among the officers. Humans didn't just bring weapons. They brought toys. And somehow, the toys were winning. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to follow 4 more stories from the galaxy.